There's really unique Zanpakuto in the Bleach verse. We have Hanataras, we have Shinjis, which is something that a lot of people love. But also one of the most unique and most popular Zanpakuto is Shunsui Kyoraku's Zanpakuto. Shunsui is one of the most popular characters when it comes to the Bleach verse, and it's not only for his chill demeanor, but as well as his abilities and his Zanpakuto abilities. Today, I want us to look into Shansui's Zanpakuto and its abilities in Shikai form as well as Bankai. And yeah, once again guys, I want to thank you guys for the support on the previous video as well as my first video on the channel. And for those who are new visiting this channel, I just want to say a whopping 98.5% of you guys aren't subscribed, and if you enjoy Bleach content, I have more coming soon. So if you want to be part of the 1%, then give me a subscribe and also turn on the post notification bell if you want to. And that being said, even if you just watched the video, I just want to give you a thank you. And that's it for the intro, so thank you, and let's get into the video. So of course, like I said, we're gonna first look at Shikai and then Bankai form, but we could also look at the unreleased state, but that's gonna be fast. So here's the unreleased state. So the name of his Shikai is actually called Katen Kyokotsu, and the release command for this is kind of long. It's flower wind stirs and flower god cries, heavenly wind stirs and heavenly demon laughs. Katen Kyokotsu. I'm actually unsure if this would be the correct English translation, but let me know if it is in the comments or if it's not, and like, let me know what the real one is. And this is a dual wield blade, and this takes the form of two Zanpakuto, which is also two spirit beings. But I'm not really I don't want to get into the Zanpakuto spirits right now, so if you want a different video, then ask for that. I don't know. However, like I said, this is his ability. This is Katen Kyokotsu Shikai, which is a Shikai that plays children's games. And some of these games to note would be Bushogama, Takeoni, Kageoni, Iro-oni, Daruma Sanga Koronada, I fucked that up, and Kageokuri. Those are his Shikai abilities. It's actually, we're actually unsure if there's more, but I'm gonna, oh my god, I'm messing this up. I'm gonna go through each of these children's games and, you know, let's go through them. And we're gonna start with my favorite one, which is Kageoni, and we see this one used against the first Espada Stark, as well as fucking dumbass Momo. Kageoni translates the Shadow Demon, and it's a technique of Katen Kyokotsu. The game allows competitors to manipulate shadows to their advantage. Shunsui is able to hide himself in the shadows, and he's able to control the shadows and use them to attack the opponent from behind, or, well, basically from the shadow they're standing in. And it's not like this is an ability that only he can use, because obviously we see Stark use it against him for him to land a huge blow on Shunsui. There's Takaoni, which he uses it against Stark, and basically this just means whoever's higher up quote unquote wins. We also see Shunsui use an ability called Bushogama, which is basically supposed to resemble a spinning top game. This ability isn't necessarily dangerous, but it will be able to disorient an opponent. There's also Kageokuri. By basically staring hard at the shadow enough, Shunsui or his opponent can project an after image in a different location. The higher the opponent's Reikaku, the more realistic the after image appears to be. And if you're confused on what Reikaku is, it's basically the ability to sense spiritual pressure. The game that this technique is based off of is called Chi-Shen no Kageokuri, where children will stare at their shadows at the ground for a couple seconds and then look at a different surface, which would make them look at an after image of themselves. This next one is called Daruma Sanga Koronda, and basically after Shunsui or his opponent is marked as being it, the other combatant travels towards them on a trail of Ryatsu left by their attack in order to catch them by surprise. But if the opponent who is it sees their opponent while they're moving, that opponent dies. This game is based off of red light, green light, as you could probably see in the comparisons. And I think I saved everybody's favorite for last, which is Iro-oni. And in this color-based game, you say the name of the color that you want to cut, and you can't cut anything else. If you do cut anything else, the damage would be minimal, even if your attack would have been a severe wound. Of course, that goes for the opposite though. If you call it a color and then you actually cut that color, even if the attack was supposed to be like a small cut, it would deal massive damage. And that's it for his Shikai abilities, and it's unknown if he actually has more abilities that he could use or not, but all the ones that I've marked down are the only ones that we have seen. And now for Bonko. So the name of his Bankai is called Kanten Kyokotsu Karamasu Shinshu, which means bones of heavenly blooming madness, withering pines, lover, suicide. And basically in this Bankai, they're not playing any more games. They are in a play, actually. And in this play, they both commit suicide, basically. There's 4 acts to this play. The first stage is called Ishidanme Dameraki no Wakachiai. And I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. And basically, in the first act of this play, whatever wounds that each one of them suffer, the other one suffers as well. So basically, if I cut your arm, it'll cut my arm as well. And Shunsui compares the story of a man who suffers from the same wounds as his partner but cannot die from them as the situation in the first act of the play. On a side note, the English translation for the name of the act is called Hesitation and Appropriation of Wounds. The second act, called Nidanme Zanki no Shitone, is called The Pillow of Shame. Black spots appear all over the body of Shunsui's opponent and makes them bleed profusely. And Shunsui basically compares this to the man feeling shame after wounding his partner, causing him to collapse in shame and becoming extremely ill. The third act, Sadanme Dangyo no Fushi, is called The Severing Abyss. Basically, a massive amount of water engulfs both Shunsui and his opponent, and they both stay in it until one of them runs out of Reiatsu. And Shunsui compares this to the characters in his story because they both hurl themselves into gushing water, seemingly attempting suicide. The last act is called Shime no Dan. What is that? Yeah, I can't pronounce that. I tried it multiple times and I can't. But basically, this final act is called Threaded Cutting Scissors upon a blood-streaked throat. And upon sheathing his swords, he wraps a thread, a white thread, around his opponent's throat multiple times before pulling it taut. It leaves a deep cut and then eventually explodes his head. He completes the story of the final act by basically saying that the man begs for mercy from his partner, but in the end, she ignores his request to be saved and kills him anyway by cutting his throat, if you couldn't guess. We can see that his Bankai is actually really depressing, and it's a unique one in a way because we don't see a Bankai like this from anybody else, one that actually enacts a sort of event or a play. Or even if we look at his Shikai, his children's games, we don't see anything like that as unique from anybody else. You could say besides the filler arcs that we see the most amount of personality when it comes to Shunsui's Zanpakuto, besides from Ichigo, where this moody-spirited Zanpakuto basically plays along with the two players in the Shikai form, giving them games to play, but in the Bankai form gives them a whole act where the Zanpakuto basically torments the both of them. We see that the majority of the Zanpakutos that we see gives the user of the Zanpakuto an advantage, but when it comes to Shunsui, it gives them games to play where each player is at an equal advantage or disadvantage, so the better player wins. And like I said, we can see the disparity between the Shikai form and the Bankai form. One is playful, happy, while the other one is depressing and moody. That's why it seems like Shunsui's Zanpakuto has more depth than the other ones, and that's why we're more interested in it. And that's why it's more unique. That's exactly why it won the poll, because of how unique the Zanpakuto is. And that's it for Zanpakuto. If you want more Zanpakuto videos, let me know what you want next. I was thinking about doing Urahara's next because it was second in the poll, but let me know what you guys want to see. Like I said, guys, thank you for the support on the channel. And like I said, more content is coming soon. And if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And if you are subscribed already, thank you. Much love to you guys. Thank you and have a good day.